stand here today to introduce one-of-a-kind Nat Sams. Natalie and I have been best friends since preschool. Natalie actually didn't really initially like me then. She really just wanted to be around my beautiful dog, Barkley. When Natalie would first come over, she would play vet with my dog, while I sat by and watched, hoping I could someday join in too. I guess Natalie eventually realized I would be an acceptable friend and decided to start paying attention to me as well. We have been friends ever since. After 12 years, I feel like I know Natalie pretty well, so I thought I would give you boys out there a few tips to winning over the elusive Natalie Sams. So here we go. Tip number 1. No matter where you are taking Natalie on a date, impressing Natalie with your new convertible, or a stroll through the park in the dead of winter, you need a full tube of sunscreen. If you think an SPF 30 will cut it, you are sadly mistaken. Tip number 2. If you have a cute dog, bringing it along on a date will never hurt. Tip number 3. If you live in Louisville, don't even try. She goes for guys in the Ohio Midwest region. Unless you're a noble prince. Tip number 4. Always know the fire escape safety routes. While most kids go to a sleepover and discuss the exciting night's events, Natalie once came over and asked if we had the adequate fire escape routes in our house. While it may take a lot of effort on your part to win Natalie over, I have learned it is well worth the wait. She is the most loyal, kind, and devoted friend, and anyone would be lucky to have her. As we all know how Natalie rolls, her speech was probably written and edited freshman year, so I'm sure it'll be great. I love you so much. Good luck on your speech, and I'll miss you next year.
I am one of 16. 16 children who have spent almost 13 years, approximately 2,340 days, together. Lifers who from the first day of kindergarten embarked on 13 years of building character. Everyone's life is full of decisions that shape our personalities and inner selves. But what comes first are the first impressions. Everyone is complex. No one is solely good or bad, weak or strong. We are a combination of every facet of our personalities influenced by everyday choices. For example, our first year of kindergarten set the tone for our journey. My first day, I clomped down the lower school hallways in my trusty, white-fringed cowboy boots. As I walked into the kindergarten homeroom, I am almost certain my classmates' first impression of me was, "Oh, she's very bold." However, first impressions don't necessarily capture who we are. For example, last year I took my first AP course, and I was extremely nervous. Mr. Gahan, my AP language and composition teacher, assigned our first in-class essay, and I wanted to show him that I was very capable of excelling and handling the work. As I sat down to write this essay, I read the question: how do all these essays relate to the subject of mortality? Death. I thought, well, there are so many allusions and ample amounts of comparisons I can make. Excitedly, I wrote 5 paragraphs about death, citing great supporting quotes and using impressive words. So exiting the room, I was brimming with pride. I had conquered my first AP essay. Only later, while chatting with my friends, did I realize the question pertained to morality, not mortality. So I had just written a 5-paragraph essay about death, when the question inquired about the value of life. So not only did my first impression reveal that I could not read, but I could also write a 5-paragraph essay on the completely opposite subject matter. My first impression ultimately crashed and burned horribly. But now I'm not just that overzealous junior who got a little too excited about an in-class essay. I'm made of layers. As a 3rd grader, I was sturdy, buck-toothed, and round-faced. I had a knack for racking up at least 2 strikes a day. 7th grade was just painfully awkward for everyone involved. However, by the time freshman year rolled around, I had developed sarcasm, which paired splendidly with my gullibility. Funny, looking back, I am still that kindergartner in cowboy boots, that rebellious 3rd grader, extremely awkward 7th grader, and that sassy freshman. All those different personas mixed to make me who I am, something a first impression can never fully capture. One impression or event does not define your life, but it are those day-to-day actions that are the building blocks for your character. The class of 2014 is incredibly layered. We're made up of extraordinary artists, gifted scholars, talented athletes, and loyal friends. To my class, let me say, our journey has been an interesting ride. From running around the Fraser Gym and the kindergarten derby to walking with our first grade buddies in the Lanner Center at convocation, we have been writing our stories. This high school chapter of our lives only captures a snapshot of our potential. Collegiate has significantly shaped many of our life stories by allowing us to experiment with multiple extracurricular activities, molding us into well-rounded individuals. Without collegiate, I would have never stepped on stage, swung a sledgehammer, dissected a squid in Dolphin Island, spent a freezing night in Little Rock, Arkansas, or run down a sand dune in Peru. Collegiate has molded me into the person I am today, all the weirdness included. But sometimes I pause and think, what if? What if I had transferred to Manual or Sacred Heart? What if I had never tried out for a play? What if I had never tried running track? Would everything be different? We are faced with so many small decisions every day. Could one little thing change my entire future? Especially when my future is already so uncertain, would I be facing another future entirely? The future frightens me. Not knowing what is in store or where I will end up makes me incredibly nervous. I wish I could fast forward a couple years just to see where I'll be. If I made the right decisions, should I have done something different? I want to look back on my life in 20 years and be able to say I did everything I could to be the best I could possibly be. Or at least be able to look back and say I made the right choices. And everyone's right choices are unique and different. But how can you make your right choice if you don't know the end product? Or for that matter, what you want the end product to be? That's why choosing a college is so difficult. We are teenagers, and they're all asking us, what do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to go? Who do you want to be? Huge questions to be asking kids who have been in the same school for 13 years. We are facing this new challenge together, finding out who we are. Through all the first impressions and decisions, we are still building ourselves. Socrates frequently states the directive, know thyself. Easier said than done. At 17 and 18 years old, we have collected many moments and made many impressions. So how do we know who we truly are? People push and prod you to make the correct choices, but what is best for you? A difficult question because we continue to evolve from the people we are destined to be. We all want to choose the best place to spend the next 4 years of our life, but is there really a right choice? People say the biggest choice in your life, besides whom you marry, is where you go to college. So much emphasis is put on a decision we make as teenagers. So much pressure to make the right choice, the correct decision to propel us into the future and to give us an advantage. But is it possible that human creativity and grace allow all of them to be the right decision? Something to consider. But in 20 years, when all is said and done, will I be able to say, at 17, I made the right decision? Or will it be the opposite? And only through the lens of time, which is the future, will those questions be answered. So class of 2014, as we go off in different directions next year, I encourage you to stay true to your layers, even those characteristics that make you weird or goofy, but definitely unique. As you make your first impressions to your roommates and to your new peers, you have a chance to start fresh, to compile all those layers and mold them into your very best you. Be confident in your abilities and in your character. Be excited for those new first impressions. Be excited to continue to grow, to continue to build yourself. And as you meet the new people, be kind. Everyone has had setbacks and successes. Everyone has a story, and everyone is fighting their own battle. We all are so much more similar than we think. You are every layer of you, and there will be more layers. But the greatest gift in life is having the freedom to be who you are. The the original 16 and the rest of the class of 2014, we only have so long, 176 days to be exact, of being Titans and Amazons. Make these last days full of good choices and full of laughter. The transformation from a child to an adult continues to march on, and soon we will be writing the last collective page of our collegiate story. Best of luck.